Hey, what's going on there? A little bird told me that someone was making a video about 33 Thomas Street, so let's talk about it. Welcome back to the channel. This is the most secret building in Manhattan. That might sound like a clickbait title, but trust me, this structure located at 33 Thomas Street between 4th and 5th Avenues has more secrets than anyone would have guessed. It's been referred to as the NSA's X-Files building because for over a decade, no one knew what went on inside. Officially, the building is owned by the Taiwanese government, which makes it even more secretive since they don't have an embassy in the US, and thus are not required to disclose who they meet with inside. There are also conflicting reports about whether or not Taiwan's government even still owns the building, but that doesn't really matter, does it? Because even if it's now privately owned, whoever bought it knows that it's a goldmine when it comes to spying on people. So why is this building so secretive? Why did Taiwan buy it in the first place? And how do we know that it's being used for spying? Well, it all started with construction. In 2007, construction began on a 16th-story windowless skyscraper in Lower Manhattan. While the building permit application listed standard windows for the first floor and then curtain wall windows for the second floor and above, the plans were approved without any windows at all. The exterior walls of the building were entirely made up of poured concrete and steel reinforcing rods, a material combination that's much more durable than typical glass windows. However, it's also much more expensive and makes no sense unless the people living inside are unsupposed to look out. Not only were there no windows, but the exterior walls were 2 feet thicker than normal. The reinforced concrete was over a foot thick, and according to a former NYPD officer, the building could withstand a direct hit from a nuclear bomb blast. All of this to protect whatever is happening inside from prying eyes. The building's massive concrete walls can reportedly withstand an explosion of up to 100 tons of TNT, which means the building may have been designed to withstand multiple simultaneous car bombs, which is crazy. I mean, who's gonna bomb a building owned by the Taiwanese government, right? Plus, the building had rumors circulating around it that it was constructed to resist earthquakes, which led many to believe that it was actually Taiwan's new embassy. However, those rumors turned out to be false as well. In fact, the building was intentionally constructed without windows because its entire purpose was to house surveillance equipment used by the National Security Agency to spy on both Americans and foreigners. According to some reports, the building was originally built for the NSA and CIA and serves as a major mass surveillance center where thousands of analysts come into work every day to sift through the vast amount of data collected daily by various intelligence agencies. It's widely believed that the NSA uses the signals intelligence gathered at 33 Thomas Street to spy on foreign diplomats and officials, politicians and celebrities. And while it's unclear what specific foreign governments are targeted, it's speculated that the agency is keeping tabs on everyone from the Chinese to the Russians to the Iranians. After all, this is the NSA we're talking about, the organization that spied on and collected data from millions of Americans without their consent. It shouldn't be surprising that they're also spying on foreign diplomats and foreign governments as well. But here's the thing. Even though we suspected that 33 Thomas Street was used for mass surveillance, we didn't have proof. I mean, what would an intelligence agency do if someone found out what they were doing? They would deny it, obviously. So we just had to take their word for it that, no sir, we are not using that building for nefarious purposes, and that is just totally not true. We asked them nicely if we could take a peek inside, but they said no. So we decided to go the next step and ask them politely if we could see what was going on inside. Still nothing. So we tried one last time and asked them very nicely if we could please check it out. Still no dice. And that's why I'm making this video, so you can finally see what's going on inside. Of course, this was easier said than done, because it turns out that the building is guarded day and night by armed guards who will literally shoot anyone trying to break in. Luckily for us, we've got connections. One of our insiders was able to sneak us into the basement of the building, so we could finally see what was going on inside. I'll spare you the details. But suffice it to say, we weren't allowed very far into the basement before we ran into a man sitting behind a desk who didn't seem to mind us walking right up to him. He just sat there staring at his computer screen, as if he had unseen us walk up to him. I guess he was just tired of seeing another person come down the stairs and think that they were gone, be able to get the scoop on this building, so he just stopped caring altogether. But there was one problem. Our insider was unsupposed to be there either, and we had to leave quickly before someone realized what had happened. According to our source, however, the man we met in the basement was a stationary guard who never left his post and always seemed confused when anyone approached him. He worked there so long that he stopped reacting to anyone entering or leaving the building, and when we got close enough to hear him talking on the phone, he was asking for a pizza delivery. So it's not like he was an actual security guard or anything. Now, we didn't get much from our foray into the basement, but it gave us an idea of how secure the building really is. The fact that the Taiwanese government would spend so much money on a building that is uneven theirs is a red flag, and the fact that they took such extreme measures to hide what's going on inside should tell you everything you need to know about their intentions. When asked about the building, the Taiwanese government said that they didn't know anything about it, but they denied it. So hard that we got a lot of people thinking that maybe the building really was just an earthquake-resistant structure and had nothing to do with espionage. However, it is more likely that the Taiwanese government was just trying to cover up what was really going on inside. The building was first identified as a possible NSA facility in 2008, when a group of students noticed that the plans for the skyscraper had no windows listed, and decided to investigate. They discovered that the building was being used for intelligence gathering and reported their findings to the media. Unfortunately, the story died down after that. However, The Intercept would later report that the building housed a massive surveillance center used by the NSA and other intelligence agencies. They reported that the building contained servers that were used to store and process vast amounts of data collected by the intelligence community from both foreign and domestic sources. Additionally, The Intercept reported that employees who worked inside the building were prohibited from bringing in any personal devices and had their cell phones locked in a cage before entering the premises. All of this is pretty standard practice for a place where top-secret information is being stored and processed. However, the level of security at 33 Thomas Street is unprecedented, leading many to believe that the building must contain extremely sensitive information that the government doesn't want getting out. And it turns out that the building is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the NSA's domestic spying operations. According to whistleblower documents leaked to The Intercept, the NSA is conducting mass surveillance on Americans by tapping into the fiber optic cables that connect major telecommunications providers to the internet. These taps allow the NSA to collect data on virtually any American they want to monitor, and the best part is that none of this is even legal. While the NSA is allowed to engage in some domestic spying under certain circumstances, their activities are strictly regulated by law. However, the NSA has been accused of violating these laws for years, and now it seems like they're getting away with it once again. It's unclear what the NSA is planning to do with all of the data they are recollecting on Americans, but it's likely used to build a complete profile of each citizen. This information could then be used to target individuals for blackmail, extortion, or even assassination. The NSA has been known to engage in some shady activities in the past, including spying on journalists and whistleblowers, so it is not out of the realm of possibility that they would do the same thing to anyone who gets in their way. So what can we do to stop the NSA from spying on us? Well, the first step is to raise awareness about what they're doing. Most Americans are completely unaware that the NSA is spying on them, let alone the lengths to which they're going. Once people realize what's happening, they can start taking steps to protect themselves. There are a number of ways to do this, such as using a VPN when browsing the internet, encrypting your communications, and being careful about the information you share online. The NSA has become so brazen in their spying activities that it seems like they'll stop at nothing to get the information they want. It's up to us to make sure that they're held accountable for their actions, and that we can continue to live in a free country. Thanks for watching.